If you're interested in getting a polyurethane transmission mount for your G35 or your 350Z, don't do it. It's awful. Holy shit. So anyways, let me back up a little bit here. So I kind of felt my car, I have a 2004 G35, and for a while now I've noticed that the car under load, when I quickly push the clutch in and try to shift under load, or when I'm in a lower gear kind of cruising maybe 15 miles an hour, the car has a rocking sensation to it. And when I let off the throttle and try to shift under load, like in a lower gear, I can hear a thump under the gearbox, as if the transmission is bouncing, something's kind of bouncing. So I assumed it was the tranny mount. So I did some research, found out some people liked the polyurethane transmission mounts. So I decided to go ahead and try it out. It wasn't too expensive. This one here is an eBay. It's an eBay replica of the Z. Is it a Z1? No, Torque Solutions polyurethane transmission mount. It's a replica. You know, capitalism at its finest. No big deal. It was $50, $55 on eBay. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's the same thing. It really is. You got the polyurethane in there, the pin, same shape. I don't know. Maybe it's eBay, maybe it's not, but I don't think so. I think it's just the type of mount that it is. So anyways, after installing this and after going through a broken transmission mount stud, and that's a whole other story. So anyways, when I installed this was so noisy. I can hear and feel every vibration in the transmission. I can feel the pistons firing through the gearbox, through the lever, through the center console, in my seat. I could feel the clutch disc engage and disengage. I can feel the clutch fork kind of activate and deactivate. It was awful. It literally sounded like my car was gonna fall apart. That being said, it shifted so good. Oh, rolling through the gears was so good. It was so precise, so tight. There wasn't any crunchiness in second gear anymore. It was very good, very smooth, and the car felt more planted. When I would take a corner, it didn't seem to kind of, sway and kind of lean over to one side or the other. It felt very planted, and I'm telling you that the shifting was so good. It was so precise, crisp. It was so good. But I cannot even describe enough how noisy and just harsh the ride was. I did a lot of reading and a lot of researching on forums and websites, etc., saying that it does vibrate, but it's pretty bad, but I got used to it. Hell no. Especially if you have a daily driver, which mine is a daily driver. I drive about 80 to 90 miles a day. Hell no. There's no way in hell you can live with this. Now, I know there's supposed to be some kind of break-in period, apparently from what I read, of anywhere from 100 to, 400 or 500 miles. But there's no way. I drove... I had it on for a day and a half, so I drove, I'd say, over 100 miles with this thing. And no, there's no way in hell that you can tolerate the noise, the vibration, and just the harshness of what that mount does on a daily basis. No way. In a race car, I'm sure you can, probably, but no way for a daily driver. Hell no. So I think I'm just going to go find a 350Z transmission mount and swap it in here, because from what I see, they seem to have a little more rubber in them versus the G35, which kind of has some like relieve holes in the mount, I guess, so it's softer. But this thing, no. And this pin size, I read the size of this pin could be an issue. If it's too big, it'll cause really hard or harsher vibration and noise. But this size of this pin, I measured, this hole is the same size as the original transmission mount. So I kind of don't think that had anything to do with it. But anyways, maybe the quality of the polyurethane has something to do with it, but I don't think so. I felt polyurethane before, and this feels, just like any polyurethane. And again, I don't see how a break-in period would make it any better. I read some person reported in the forum that the break-in period reduced the harshness vibrations by 15%. Not even worth it. Hell no. I don't even think that would be noticeable compared to how bad and awful it sounded. What else? It was so bad. Like I mentioned, I hear the pistons firing. I hear the clutch engaging. I can feel these. I'm pretty sure I could feel and hear the synchronizers kind of not grind, but make contact with the shift fork and everything. I felt every internal movement, vibration of the transmission and the engine mount, and it was that bad. I mean, I've ridden in cars with blown shocks on lowering springs before, and I've driven, I don't even really listen to music. I drive with the windows down, and I've driven some shitbox cars before. But there's no way that I would ever tolerate this thing. Hell no. It was so bad. So bad. And you can call me a wimp, whatever you want to call it, but there's no way, especially for a daily driver. No way. It was that bad. I literally thought the engine was going to jump out of the car. And I gave my dad a ride, and he thought the same thing. He kept asking me, is something broken? What's wrong with your car? Are you sure it's not going to break? The engine seems like it's going to fly out of your engine bay. So, anyways, just a quick video review. If anyone is thinking about getting a polyurethane transmission mount for their Z or their G35, if your car's a daily driver, don't do it. Don't do it. If it's a race car, have at it. Whatever. But for a daily driver, hell no. Hell no. So, obviously I can't return this now. I'm going to try to sell it on the Craig's Balls or somewhere else. So, if you're into something like this, watch this video. Take my warning. The descriptions online don't do it justice at how bad this is and how much noise and vibration you get. It really doesn't. None of those do. I thought the same thing. I'm like, I'm not a little bitch. I'll just get this and whatever, deal with some harshness. But no, absolutely not. And especially if you ride with passengers, ever, your wife, kids, hell no. Hell no. Anyways, that's what I have to say. I guess if you have any other questions, send me a comment, whatever, and I'll get back to you. But yeah.